Welcome to our deep dive into the meaning of hometown.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
Today we're going to be unpacking a conversation
Okay.
between Marco and Erica from the Speak English podcast.
I like that podcast.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah.
About what makes their hometown so special.
Awesome.
And we're going to be kind of exploring two
Okay.
completely different places.
Yeah.
So
It's a fascinating comparison, isn't it?
it is.
We have Marco from Genoa, Italy,
Yeah.
a bustling port city with over 2,000 years of history,
Wow.
and Erica from Cedar Valley in the American Midwest,
Okay.
a small town
Uh-huh.
where life moves at a slower pace.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
know, when I hear Marco describe Genoa's ancient buildings and narrow alleyways,
Yeah.
I immediately think of those winding Karugi that he mentioned.
Oh, yeah?
Like stepping back in time,
Right.
but with a modern twist.
Yeah.
So cool.
What's fascinating is that even in a city as large as Genoa,
Yeah.
Marco found that strong sense of community,
Mm-hmm.
particularly in those Karugis.
Right.
He talked about running into the same people every day,
Oh, wow.
almost like an extended family spread throughout the city.
It reminds me of what Erica said about Cedar Valley.
Oh, yeah.
That classic,
Yeah.
everyone knows everyone's atmosphere.
Right, right.
It seems that regardless of size,
Yeah,
that human need for connection runs deep,
totally.
shaping our experiences in ways we might not even realize.
Absolutely. And this connection to place extends beyond the people.
Oh, interesting.
Marco talked about growing up near the port,
Okay.
constantly surrounded by the sights and smells of the sea,
I can imagine.
ships arriving from all corners of the globe.
Wow.
It gave him this early understanding of the world's vastness.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
It's interesting how different those early experiences were.
Right.
Erica described Cedar Valley as being isolated or out in the middle of nowhere,
Uh-huh.
with farmland and forests stretching as far as the eye can see.
And yet,
Yeah.
she also found a sense of escape in that isolation,
Oh,
a connection to nature
right.
that Marco, surrounded by the bustling activity of the port,
Yeah.
might not have experienced in the same way.
It really highlights how hometown can evoke such different feelings and associations, doesn't it?
It does.
But one thing they both mentioned that resonated with me
Yeah.
was the importance of food.
Food as a cultural touchstone,
Yes,
a way to connect to our roots and heritage.
exactly.
I love that.
Marco's description of his family's Sunday pesto-making tradition in Genoa
Yeah.
was incredibly vivid.
I bet.
Fresh basil, pine nuts, garlic, all ground together
Oh my God.
in a mortar and pestle.
It sounds amazing.
It's like a ritual
Right.
that's been passed down through generations.
It's not just about the taste, is it?
No.
It's about the sensory experience.
Yeah.
The smells, the sounds,
Mhm.
the shared activity
Right.
that ties him to his family and to Genoa's culinary history.
It makes you want to be there.
You can practically smell the pesto wafting from the kitchen, can't you?
Oh, yeah, totally.
I can almost taste it.
It makes you realize how powerful those sensory experiences are
Yeah.
in shaping our memories and associations with a place.
It's true.
And it's interesting how different culinary traditions can
Right.
evoke completely different feelings.
You're thinking about Erica's mom's pot roast?
Yeah.
Like a classic Cedar Valley comfort food?
Especially during those long winters.
Right.
It's like that aroma of slow-cooked meat and vegetables.
I love pot roast.
Me too.
It's so good.
Become synonymous with warmth,
Yeah.
family, and a sense of home.
It seems like certain smells and tastes have this incredible ability to transport us back to our childhoods,
Totally.
no matter how far we've traveled from our hometowns.
Speaking of being transported, I was captivated by Marco's description of Piazza dei Ferrari,
Oh, yeah.
the main square in Genoa,
Right.
with its beautiful fountain.
Ah, yes, the fountain he imagined as a magical portal when he was a child.
It made me wonder about the power of place
Yeah.
in shaping our imaginations,
Right.
especially as children. Uh-huh.
It's like those everyday locations become imbued with a sense of wonder and possibility.
And it's fascinating to compare that to Erica's special place,
Oh, yeah.
Cedar Valley Park.
Where she learned to ride her bike,
Right.
had family picnics,
Uh-huh.
and watched the seasons change.
It seems both of these locations, despite their differences,
Yeah.
serve as anchors to the past,
Totally.
evoking strong emotions and a sense of belonging.
It's like those places hold a piece of their childhood selves.
Right.
But as we delve deeper into their stories,
Okay.
I'm curious to explore how nature itself shapes these two contrasting environments.
That's a great segue because Erica's description of autumn in Cedar Valley Park was particularly striking.
Oh, yeah.
She painted a vivid picture of the trees, ablaze with color, Shades of red, orange, and yellow,
Beautiful.
transforming the entire landscape.
It's like nature puts on a grand finale before winter sets in.
Exactly. And then you have Genoa,
Okay.
where autumn is a much subtler affair.
Marco described a warm golden light that bathes the city, almost like a painter's brushstroke, highlighting the city's architectural details.
It's amazing how the same season can manifest in such different yet equally captivating ways,
I know, right?
shaping the character of each hometown.
It speaks to the diversity of beauty found in nature, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. But, we've talked about the physical environment, the food,
Yeah.
those special places.
Right.
But what about the people who inhabit these communities?
Okay.
I think that's where things get really interesting.
You're referring to the contrast between Genoa's multiculturalism
Yes.
and Cedar Valley's more homogeneous community.
Exactly. Marco described Genoa as a melting pot, shaped by its history as a port city.
Interesting.
He recalled hearing Italian, Arabic, and Spanish all spoken in the same marketplace.
Wow.
What an incredible experience that must have been growing up surrounded by such diversity.
It certainly provides a different perspective on the world, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
And then we have Cedar Valley, where, as Erica described, most people have lived there their whole lives,
Right.
sharing a common history and heritage.
It makes me think about the different ways those environments might shape a person's worldview.
Yeah.
On the one hand, you have the richness and vibrancy of diverse cultures.
Uh-huh.
And on the other, the strength and stability of shared traditions.
It's all part of that intricate tapestry that makes up the idea of hometown, isn't it?
It is.
It's the physical landscape, the cultural traditions, the people, the stories, the values, all these threads woven together.
It makes you realize that hometown isn't just a location on a map.
Right.
It's a concept, a feeling,
Uh-huh.
a collection of memories and experiences that shape who we are.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's almost like our hometowns become a part of our DNA, influencing our perspectives and shaping our sense of belonging.
It's something we carry with us,
Yeah.
even as we move away and build lives elsewhere.
And that brings us back to you. We asked you to think about your own hometown,
Right.
to recall those sensory details and memories that make it special.
What images come to mind when you picture the place where you grew up?
Yeah.
Are you drawn to the bustling streets of a city like Genoa?
Right.
Or do you find solace in the quiet charm of a small town like Cedar Valley?
What sights, sounds, smells, and tastes evoke a sense of nostalgia and transport you back to your childhood?
Hold on to those thoughts, because in the final part of our deep dive,
Okay.
we're going to explore how these individual experiences connect.
Right.
To create a universal understanding of what it means to call a place home.
Sounds good.
We'll pick up this conversation after a short break.
We were just talking about some of those cherished hometown traditions, and it struck me that those shared experiences, those rituals that we participate in year after year, really do weave a strong sense of community.
I think that's a key insight.
Yeah.
Whether it's something as simple as gathering for a local festival or as grand as a religious pilgrimage.
Yeah.
Those traditions create a sense of continuity,
Right.
connecting us to the generations who came before us and shaping the identity of a place.
And it makes me think about something we touched on earlier.
Okay.
The idea of a hometown shaping our worldview.
Right.
We were comparing Marco's Genoa, a city teeming with diverse cultures and languages, to Erica's Cedar Valley, where shared history and heritage seem to be paramount.
That contrast is so intriguing, isn't it?
It is.
It begs the question,
Yeah.
how do those different environments mold our perspectives and understanding of the world?
It does.
Yeah.
Marco described growing up surrounded by a tapestry of languages and customs,
Right.
hearing Italian, Arabic, and Spanish spoken side by side in the marketplace.
Wow.
I imagine that kind of exposure fostered a sense of the world's vastness
Yeah.
and interconnectedness from a very young age.
It's like having a window into different ways of life
Right.
built into your daily routine.
Yeah.
And that early exposure to diversity can be incredibly valuable in shaping a more open and inclusive worldview.
Then you have Cedar Valley,
Right.
where, as Erica put it, most people have lived there their whole lives.
Yeah.
There's a comfort and familiarity in that shared history.
Right.
A deep sense of belonging.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Erica acknowledged the positive aspects of that tight-knit community.
Right.
The feeling of support, accountability, and a shared sense of values.
Yeah.
It's like a living, breathing embodiment of tradition and continuity.
But I wonder about the potential downsides, too. Is there a risk of insularity in a place where everyone shares the same background and perspective?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Does it become more challenging to encounter different ideas or challenge your own assumptions?
That's a thought-provoking question.
Yeah.
And it's not about passing judgment or saying one type of community is inherently better than the other.
Right.
It's more about recognizing that each environment presents its own set of opportunities and challenges.
It's like two different paths to developing a sense of self and place in the world.
Right.
Each with its own unique advantages and limitations.
Precisely. And it's interesting to think about how those early experiences shape our understanding of what it means to be part of a community, whether it's one defined by diversity or one built on shared heritage.
It's all part of that intricate tapestry that makes up the idea of hometown, isn't it?
It is.
It's the physical landscape, the cultural traditions, the people, the stories, the values, all these threads woven together.
And it makes you realize that hometown isn't just a location on a map. It's a concept, a feeling, a collection of memories and experiences that shape who we are.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's almost like our hometowns become a part of our DNA, influencing our perspectives and shaping our sense of belonging.
It's something we carry with us, even as we move away and build lives elsewhere.
And that brings us back to you.
Okay.
We asked you to think about your own hometown, to recall those sensory details and memories that make it special.
What images come to mind when you picture the place where you grew up?
Yeah.
Are you drawn to the bustling streets of a city like Genoa? Or do you find solace in the quiet charm of a small town like Cedar Valley?
What sights, sounds, smells, and tastes evoke a sense of nostalgia and transport you back to your childhood?
Hold on to those thoughts because in the final part of our deep dive,
Okay,
we're going to explore how these individual experiences connect to create a universal understanding of what it means to call a place home.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the heart of hometown.
Oh, it's good to be back.
We've journeyed from the bustling port of Genoa to the serene landscapes of Cedar Valley.
Such different places.
Exploring how these vastly different places shape our sense of self and belonging.
Right.
But as we wrap up, I want to shift our focus inward.
Okay.
We asked you to reflect on your own hometown, to conjure up those sensory details and memories that make it uniquely yours.
Because ultimately, hometown isn't just about a specific location.
Right.
It's a tapestry.
Yeah.
Woven from the threads of individual experience, the sights, sounds, smells, tastes, and most importantly, the emotions that bind us to a particular place.
You know, as we were discussing Marco and Erica's stories, it struck me how those seemingly small details, the aroma of freshly baked bread wafting from a local bakery, the echo of children's laughter in a neighborhood park, the taste of a grandmother's homemade soup.
I love that.
Can evoke such powerful emotions and transport us back to our childhoods in an instant.
It's fascinating how those sensory experiences become embedded in our memories.
Yeah.
Almost like anchors to our past. And those anchors can provide a sense of comfort and grounding.
Right.
Especially in a world that often feels chaotic and unpredictable.
It's like having a touchstone.
Yeah.
A place where we feel known and understood regardless of where life takes us.
Right.
And I think that's a universal human need. This yearning for a place to call home, a place where we can truly be ourselves.
Absolutely. And as Marco and Erica so beautifully demonstrated, hometown can manifest in countless ways.
It's true.
It might be a bustling metropolis filled with diverse cultures and constant activity, or a tranquil village where life moves at a slower pace.
But regardless of its physical characteristics, it's that emotional resonance that truly matters. It's the way a particular place makes us feel, the memories it holds, the values it instills.
Yeah.
It's that intangible essence that transforms a collection of streets and buildings into a place we call home.
And what's so fascinating is that even as we evolve and change, even as we venture out into the world and build lives elsewhere, that connection to our hometown remains.
It's true.
It becomes a part of our personal narrative, shaping our perspectives and influencing how we navigate the world.
It's like carrying a piece of that place with us wherever we go.
Right.
And in a world that can often feel fragmented and disconnected, that sense of rootedness, that connection to our origins can be incredibly grounding.
So as we conclude our deep dives, I encourage you to hold on to those hometown memories. To cherish those unique details that make your story special.
It's good advice.
Because those individual threads woven together create a rich and diverse tapestry of human experience.
Beautifully said, and thank you for joining us on this journey of exploration and reflection.
It was my pleasure.
We hope it sparked a renewed appreciation for the places that shaped us.
Yeah.
And for the countless ways in which a hometown can resonate in our hearts and minds.
Me too.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep seeking those connections that make us human.